Back in 1997, Games Workshop, for their Warhammer Fantasy Battle game, released a series of supplements, narrative supplements, full of scenarios that, when played sequentially, formed a full story, and one of those is very fitting for this time of year. Hello, welcome to the Battling Barrow. My name's Kev, and in this video we are going to have a look at the Circle of Blood. Unfortunately, I don't own a physical copy of it. I did try to track one down on eBay, but so we're going to have to do this virtually. Circle of Blood was released in 1997 by Jake Thornton and Thomas Pieronin, he of Mordheim fame. The cover art, the excellent cover art, was by Mark Gibbons, and this is just an era of Games Workshop I love. That red box era of the sort of late 80s to late 90s, that period is lovely. It's grimdark without being depressing. There is still vibrancy in the colours, and represented in the miniatures at the time, the way they were presented with really nice colours on goblin green bases, as was the style of the time. The interior art was by John Blanche, Wayne England, Des Henley, Toby Hines, Mark Gibbons, Paul Smith and John Wigley. Let's have a look at the contents first of all. It was, you can see it's clocking in at around 32 pages if you look at the end, and there are some cardboard building assembly instructions. And yes, this is where this thing, why didn't I buy it back then? This would have really appealed to me. It comes with some cardstock scenery that you can assemble for use in the campaign. So we have the Warhammer campaign. This is explaining what we're going to be expecting to see in the book. This will probably be more interesting if you play Warhammer, but the presentation of this is lovely with that lovely Mortis Grave at the bottom of the Raven on. It's great. As usual for products this time, you get a lot of these box outs with details, lore and what have you in there, which just really, this for me was the pinnacle of Games Workshop. Just really just giving that vibe and that atmosphere of what you would expect. So we have another page of it here explaining the story, the land, the background. It's wonderful. And then this picture here of our villain, the Red Duke. And we have the ballad of the Red Duke himself, so it's basically giving you the background for him and who he is, what he is, where he comes from. He was, as you would expect, a Duke of Bretonia that gets basically turned into a vampire and gets defeated but buried alive, as much as you can be if you're a vampire, only to return hundreds of years later, now completely insane and reliving the events of the past. Have this lovely map here of what will be the campaign, and obviously a bit more, as you would expect something like this, a lot more lore. On to the scenarios themselves. Knight's Battle at Marseille, Scenario 1. If you're into Warhammer Fantasy and you're interested in this, you can pause this video to get the details. I won't go over everything in here. I'm going to go give you an overview of what is in this book. Scenario 2 is Defense of the Tower. This is where the Red Duke is attacking a tower of a lady. In this one, Lady Zelda, who the Duke believes is someone else from his past. So yeah, interesting. Scenario 3, Race for the Bridge. This is where the young heir of Bretonia has been sort of trying to spread news of the Duke's return and is now riding back to warn people and has to cross a river while being pursued by lots of undead. Scenario 4, Battle of Karen Field. This is the end scenario, the big battle at the end. Quite a big one. And then appendices. So yeah, you only get 4 scenarios, but that is enough for Warhammer Fantasy Battle, considering how long the games take. That will keep you playing for a good few weeks. I love this historian's comment here when we're talking about various bits of dropping in. It makes it feel nice and real, like the events that happened, where legends over time, events become legends. So when you're playing a game, just because your outcome's different to the historical version, that's just the minstrel, the bard's telling of retelling of that version. I like that. It sort of makes it real for me. So yeah, what you have here is Knights Battle at Marseille. These are going to be the historical troops that were used, and you can use, or you can just use your own. Defense of the tower here. You have these, so you can have the good guys here and the bad guys down the bottom there. Race to the bridge. You see the armies here of Bretonia, and then the bad guys. I guess the bad guys from a word, the undead. To me, they'd be bad guys as a son of Bretonia. The Battle of Karen Field, again, likewise, you have the armies. And use another army. So this is maybe changing the campaign to just using the battle, changing the story. Put it so you can have the Empire perhaps in here, and it's giving examples of how to do that here, and what have you, and just going through the different troops and different battles you can use. Appendix 3 is for setting up a battlefield, which is fairly somewhat standard for the time now, but the time pretty much wasn't. So this is a good, if you want to play pitch field battles with terrain generation here, it's pretty good. And then we have the card instructions, because yes, lovely bit of art there. This was a set that had cardboard models in, which we can just about see here. If you tilt your head, you can see what we're getting. This is a PDF copy, so we have this battle scrolls undegraded. So this is going to be the troops and their stats here and what have you. So you had this at the end. So in total, this will come to 52 pages. Again, this is all. I would love to get a physical copy of this. If you have a physical copy of it and you don't want, let me know. I'd be interested if it's not too bad. That is what you get here in that. And now let's have a look at the more interesting thing, the actual card stock. So we have the instructions and then the actual bits themselves. I don't think this PDF is quite wide enough to fit it all in. I was thinking out sort of trying to print these out and seeing if I could build them that way, but I don't think it's possible. If you look on the right hand side, it looks like there's something missing, especially from that middle arch there, so it doesn't look like it's got the full width here. But yeah, this is what the card stock looks like, and it was lovely in detail. Just that lovely 90s card terrain that Games Workshop were doing then. So I'd love to get hold of this, but I bet this would be super duper expensive. Nowadays, of course, we have plastic for this, but you know, wow, back then. Just look at it, just those skulls and those alcove bits there, just so evocative of. It's double-sided because on some bits they were flipped over. What I might do, if anyone's interested at some point in the future, hopefully before next Halloween, is maybe have a go at just making these myself. A bit like how I did the Warhammer house a few years back. And recreate these, see if I can recreate these myself as a terrain builder. But that is the terrain. As you've probably guessed, I didn't have this back in the day, but I do know the story quite well, because I didn't realise until I started looking into this. About last November, December, I read the book The Red Duke, which is a very good book. It's about Bretonnia versus undead against a mad vampire called the Red Duke, and this is a book form, a novelization, if you like, of the Circle of Blood campaign, and really well done. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. So when I was looking through this, I sort of recognised parts of it. Of course, you can't. This is long out of print now, but you can sometimes pick up copies on Amazon and eBay. But yeah, that was a little look at Circle of Blood. Let me know if you've played this, if you've had a copy of it. Let me know, give me a call. If you have played it, yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are of it. Did you enjoy your time with it? But this was just a little sort of flip through the PDF version of the Circle of Blood campaign, just showing you what's out there. I thought I'd do something for Halloween for Warhammer, and that was it. Last year we looked at the sort of undead books. This year, Circle of Blood, which I sort of left out of that, didn't even mention that in that thing. So I feel I've redeemed myself looking at this now. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. If there's till the next one, guys, stay safe, take care, bye bye.